There's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot in healing communities. Holding space. We talk about holding space for others. For their grief, their struggles, their transformation. But there's something we rarely discuss. How to hold space for ourselves. How to become the witness to our own unfolding. Holding space for yourself means showing up for your own experience without trying to fix it, rush it, or make it more palatable for others. It means sitting with your messy emotions and not apologizing for them. It means honoring your pace, even when the world is telling you to speed up. Most of us were never taught this. We were taught to be strong, to push through, to not make a fuss. We learned that our pain was an inconvenience, that our healing had to happen on someone else's timeline. We learned to perform recovery before we actually felt recovered. But here's the truth. Healing isn't linear. It doesn't follow a schedule. Some days you'll feel like you're making incredible progress, and the next day you'll find yourself back in the darkness. And both of those experiences are valid. Both deserve space. Think about how you show up for someone you love when they're hurting. You don't tell them to get over it. You don't compare their pain to someone else's. You sit with them. You listen without trying to solve everything. You let them feel what they feel without judgment. Now imagine offering that same compassion to yourself. What would change if you stopped treating your healing like a problem to solve and started treating it like a journey to honor? Holding space for yourself starts with permission. Permission to not be okay. Permission to take longer than you thought you would. Permission to have bad days even when you've had good weeks. Permission to say no to things that drain you, even if they seem important to everyone else. It means creating boundaries around your energy. Your healing requires protection. Not everyone deserves access to your vulnerable moments. Not everyone has earned the right to comment on your process. You get to decide who holds your story. And you absolutely get to remove people who make your healing harder. Even if they're family. Even if they mean well. Holding space also means releasing the timeline. Society loves deadlines. 3 months to get over a breakup. 6 months to process grief. A year to recover from trauma. Maybe it takes you 5 years to process something others move through in 5 months. That doesn't make you broken. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. It makes you someone who's doing the deep work instead of just covering wounds with band-aids. There will be people who don't understand this. People who get impatient with your process. People who think you should be over it by now. Let them have their opinions. Your healing isn't a democracy. You don't need their approval to take the time you need. Holding space means getting comfortable with not having all the answers. You don't need to understand why you feel the way you feel. You don't need to explain your triggers. You don't need to justify your boundaries or your choices or your pace. Sometimes holding space looks like crying in your car before work. Sometimes it looks like canceling plans because you need a quiet night alone. Sometimes it looks like asking for help even when it terrifies you. Sometimes it looks like celebrating tiny victories that no one else would even notice. It's learning to tune into your own inner wisdom instead of constantly seeking external validation. It's trusting that you know what you need better than anyone else does. Even when you feel lost. Even when you doubt yourself. Somewhere deep inside you know. And here's what happens when you truly hold space for yourself. You stop abandoning yourself in moments of discomfort. You stop performing wellness when you actually feel broken. You stop rushing through the hard parts just to get to some imaginary finish line. You start showing up authentically. You start honoring your truth, even when it's inconvenient. You start building a relationship with yourself that's based on trust, not judgment. You become your own safe place. This doesn't mean you never push yourself. It means you learn the difference between challenging yourself from a place of love versus punishing yourself from a place of shame. One feels like growth. The other feels like violence. Holding space for your healing is one of the most radical acts of self-love you can practice. In a world that profits from your self-doubt, that rushes you through your pain, that tells you your worth is tied to your productivity, choosing to honor your own process is revolutionary. So today, take a breath. A real one. And acknowledge wherever you are right now in your journey. Whether you're thriving or barely surviving. Whether you're making progress or feeling stuck. All of it is valid. All of it deserves space. You don't need to be further along than you are. You don't need to have it figured out. You just need to keep showing up for yourself with compassion, patience, and grace. Hold space for your healing. Hold space for your humanity. You're doing better than you think you are. And you deserve your own kindness most of all.